What's going on, people? Welcome back to another episode of the BallBusters podcast. Today is Wednesday, April 5th. My name is Will. Joining me is my co-host, Eric. How you feeling today, brother?
I'm feeling great this morning. We are in the midst of a Dynasty startup together, which has been really exciting. So we got all the juices for Dynasty World out here, and I'm excited to get into this Dynasty Rookie Mock today.
Hell yeah. And in this mock, we're going to pick probably more than we picked in that startup draft. So, so I'm actually a little bit excited to get this one done. As you guys know, a little context, we're doing a slow draft over there. So 8 hours per pick, a little grueling, but it's been fun kind of for the most part. So,
Yeah.
but with that being said, we're going to be doing a mock draft over here on Sleeper. I'm going to go ahead and swap over so you guys can take a look. So you guys can see the rules a little bit up there in that top left corner. It's a SuperFlex tight end premium, so that's half a point extra per reception, and it's a 12-team Dynasty Rookie Mock. So you guys know the settings that we're working with. 12-team SuperFlex tight end premium, extra half a point for tight ends on receptions. So yeah, we're gonna be going through 4 rounds for this one, Eric. 4 rounds.
Three. We're going to do three.
We're gonna do 3 rounds on this one. Sorry about that. Sorry to get your hopes up, guys. But yeah, we're going to do 3 rounds, just going through it. And we're going to work with these settings just so it is a little bit different from prior mock drafts that we have done with just these rookies. So we can show you guys how tight end premium could affect the draft. So, yeah.
100%. Yeah. So to not delay it any further, let's get ready. I have and it's easy. I'm going to take Bijan Robinson. I don't know that there's too much explaining to be done. Bang, Bijan.
Yeah, it's probably the easiest pick in a rookie mock draft. He's been the 101 for probably the last 2 years. So I don't see that. And nothing's changed since then, honestly. So, yeah, Bijan for sure. I've got the 102 spot. Lately, we have been banging the drum for Anthony Richardson. We've been picking him in this 102 spot. And while I still don't disagree with that, I think it's mainly based on what it is that your team needs. I feel like if your team is rebuilding and maybe you don't need the win right now, you're fine with letting a quarterback develop over some time. This is where you would use Anthony Richardson in a pick like this, which is, probably a likely situation if you end up with the 102. It means your team was pretty bad the year prior. But if you're in a spot where you trade it for the 102, like we have seen out of some people who have, sent us roster reviews, stuff like that. We've seen people with good teams end up with these high draft picks. So if you're a team like that and you're just looking to shore up the quarterback position, I think you should take the quarterback that is the most ready to come into the league at this moment. And for me, that's C.J. Stroud. So with the 102, I am going to pick Mr. C.J. Stroud.
I love it. Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better myself. Team situation is going to drastically affect who you would go with in this situation. But yeah, not that we've necessarily wavered off of Anthony Richardson at that 102. Just, you got to weigh all the factors there. So I love CJ Stroud as the pick. And with all of that being said, I'm going to go ahead and take Anthony Richardson at the 103. Just an incredibly high upside guy. And yeah, if you're in a rebuilding situation, if he doesn't start right away, not a big deal. You end up with a better draft pick in 2024. Maybe you can even add a Caleb Williams or a Drake May the following year, really shore up that quarterback position. But yeah, I don't want to delay it too much further. I'm going to go A-Rich here at the 103.
Hell yeah. At the 104, I'm going to go with one that, maybe isn't a consensus for a Superflex top 4, but I'm going to pick him because I like the player a lot as a player. I'm going to go with Jackson Smith-Njigba at the 104.
No.
Yeah. I just think
you took him.
It's like we talked about before. I think Jackson Smith-Njigba, when it comes to his agility, change of speed, route running, all that, he is up there in that upper echelon, probably elite tier when it comes to NFL wide receivers. When it comes to speed, stuff like that, obviously he ended up clocking in around a 4.5 at his pro day. So it wasn't disappointing. Also wasn't anything that's an indicator of him being slow. So that was also just, a good thing to get out of that. So I really do like JSN here, and I'm sure Eric has a little bit he wants to say about Mr. Jackson Smith-Njigba as well.
He's my guy, man. I love JSN.
Yeah.
It's tough. I don't know what I would have done at the 104 because I really like Bryce Young as well, and I think you do too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, somebody on Twitter, forgive me that I don't remember who it was. Maybe Dynasty Zoltan, David Gautieri, both guys that you should go follow regardless. But one of them mentioned that the difference in like value at the end of this upcoming season between Bijan Robinson and Jackson Smith-Njigba is a lot smaller than people might lead you to believe. Like they are top tier dynasty assets. And so, yeah, like, as crazy as it might sound, I wouldn't even hate JSN at the 102. I'm not personally doing that, but as high as I am on him, like, I could probably make the argument.
Yeah, definitely for sure.
Yeah. All right. So that does make my 105 pick pretty easy. I guess it would have been easy either way. I was going to take Jackson Smith and Jigba there, but I'll take Bryce Young, sure up the quarterback position in a SuperFlex league. At the 105, I think, especially if you're QB needy, this is the ideal situation. Bryce Young is a dynamic NFL ready quarterback, and I think that he's going to be a difference maker at the next level.
I absolutely agree. He's going to make a difference. He's probably one of the most poised quarterbacks coming into the league in terms of being able to handle pressure, playing in big games. He's been playing in big games his whole life. So, yeah, excited to see Bryce Young in the league. With the 106, I'm going to go with Mr. Jahmyr Gibbs out of Alabama. I just think in terms of him as a running back, in terms of a runner, he's not the most dynamic. He's able to get the job done as a runner, but a lot of his value comes into his use as a pass catcher and a route runner, and he's just electric out in the open field. Obviously, we've seen comps of Alvin Kamara. Don't think that's true, but in terms of him being able to come out and produce right away with the team that's able to deploy him in that receiving form, I think he could be excellent out there.
Yeah, I think he is the embodiment of the modern day NFL back. I think we're going to see a lot more people in his kind of mold coming into the NFL in the future. And honestly, I think he steps in to probably like top 6 dynasty running back territory almost immediately, like right in there around like the Travis Etienne kind of range. So yeah, I think that's a fantastic pick to get at the rookie pick 106. All right. So at the 107, I don't think I'm going to do it. It's going to depend on draft capital for Will Levis, but I don't like Will Levis. And from what we've heard recently, he's been sliding a little bit. Who knows if that's smoke or fire? We don't know. But I'm going to go with my wide receiver 2 here in Quentin Johnston. Huge frame, 6'9" wingspan, 6'2.5". Super fast, super athletic, and great in his yards after the catch. A little bit limited in his route tree, but I think that can be coached up. And yeah, he's just dynamic in the open field. So I think he's going to be a great weapon for any NFL team he goes to.
No, I like that a lot. He measured in a little bit shorter than I thought he would. I think everyone was listening to 6'4", he ended up measuring at 6'3". Again, that doesn't even matter because this guy's a beast, especially once he does catch the ball and he makes that first move. So yeah, I like Quentin Johnston a lot.
Yep.
For the 108, I'll probably end up going with Will Levis here. It's like you said, he's been sliding, but I think he's still going to end up going to a spot where he's going to play pretty soon. And also just on top of all that, this is just the cheapest time that you can really get quarterbacks that you can try out. So I'm not going to let him slide too far away and get away from me if he does make it to this 108 spot, which I think he will. Like you said, he's been sliding a good bit in terms of like NFL outlook towards him. I've seen a lot of Will Levis talk on Twitter lately.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, like you said, in a SuperFlex league, at this point in the draft, you just kind of have to pull the trigger, especially if he gets the capital. All right, at the 109, assuming that you have the 109, you're probably a pretty good team. You're in contention. You're looking a safe pick and somebody that's going to produce for you early on. And this is a guy that I haven't really picked a lot in our mock drafts recently, but I'm going to go with Zach Charbonnet. I think he's an incredibly safe running back prospect, super well-rounded. He can get it done in terms of, the short yardage kind of banger type guy. I think he can be efficient. He's shown that he's underrated in the receiving game. He can do it as a receiver as well. And I think that he fits into a wide variety of systems. He's shown to be able to get it done in a gap scheme and a zone scheme. Really good vision in between the tackles and outside. Just really good prospect, and I'm going to take the safety here at the 109.
No, I really do like Zach Charbonnet too. I love the style of play. He reminds me a lot of like James Conner in the earlier years. At least just a little bit in terms of play style. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
For the 110, same boat as Eric. Like he said, you're probably a pretty good team looking for some consistency, looking for some good play out of a player. This is where I would look at someone like Jordan Addison. Someone who I believe was pretty NFL ready coming into the league in terms of route running, in terms of poise, in terms of just being able to play bigger than he is. The speed was a little bit disappointing at the draft, but I mean, that was kind of the case for everybody, so I can't really knock him too much for that. But I do think
Yeah.
that he is one of those guys that could slot in immediately and make an impact on an NFL team.
Yeah, my only real concern with him is weight at 173. But I mean, we've seen guys succeed that level. We had this discussion, I think, the
Mm-hmm.
last time between him and like a Devonta Smith. I don't think he's quite at Smitty's level, which is why I'm a little bit more concerned. But similar body type, similar kind of style of receiver in the way that he wins, so he certainly could get it done.
Yeah, I like that.
This is where it starts getting a little bit tricky for me, especially in a tight end premium. The thoughts start to creep in whether I take a Dalton Kincaid or a Michael Mayer here at the end of the first round. We talked about it before we even got on here, but rookie tight ends typically don't produce for the first few years of their NFL career. And so if you're sitting at the 111 or 112, you're probably looking for somebody that's going to produce right away because you're a competing team. So with that being said, I think I'm probably going to still lean receiver for now, and I'm going to go with Zay Flowers. I'm really splitting hairs between him and Josh Downs. I think that they're fairly similar, both a little undersized, but really dynamic and electric in the open field, both much better at contested catching than their size would suggest. I do think as of now, it sounds like Zay Flowers is going to get the better draft capital, and for that reason, I'm going to go with him here.
Nah, I like that. Zay Flowers has definitely been. I think he's been flying up a lot of people's draft boards lately. I've seen a lot of Zay Flowers talk on Twitter as well. So the hype is
For sure.
definitely there too. Starting to catch up with the prospect.
Yep.
And for the 12 spot, this is where I'm gonna go tight end. I'm gonna go Dalton Kincaid right here.
All right.
I just feel like Eric said, if you're the 112, you're probably coming off a championship. Your team is pretty good. There's not a whole lot of holes, whole lot of things you need to fix. So this is where you do start to take some of your chances on some projects. I think Dalton Kincaid has slowly become one of the best, if not the best, tight end in this class for me. Eric has helped convince me of that as well. But I just feel like if you are looking for that extra bump up, obviously having a good tight end on your team is going to be that thing that helps get you into that upper echelon of teams in your league. So if you're able to take a shot on Dalton Kincaid and tight end premium and he ends up panning out, perfect. If not, you've still got your championship roster and you took a shot on a player who could end up producing. So
Yeah, I like that a lot because you kind of we gave both sides of the argument there. Where do you want the production right away? Do you feel comfortable with the production that you have in your weight? You could make either of those arguments for a contending team. Regardless, I think Dalton Kincaid is more than worth it at the 112.
mm-hmm.
All right, so we go to the 2-1 here. Oh, I have this set as Snake. Guys, I apologize. Typically, this is supposed to be a linear draft, and let's treat it that way, but it's just going to look Snake. So sorry about that for the incorrect setting, but this would be the 2-1 on the opposite side of the board.
Yeah, it should be over here, guys, but it's going to be over here.
Over here. All right. Give me Josh Downs. Michael Mayer, again, is in consideration there. But Josh Downs and Zay Flowers are in the same tier for me. Very similar prospects. I really love the college production profile from him. And I know that he's going to be a solid NFL pro. So I'm going to take the security of the wide receiver position there.
No, I like that a lot. Josh Downs also been flying up draft boards as well lately. At the, I guess, what is it, 202 spot? It's still labeled correctly. I don't know why I struggled right there. But this is where I'm going to take someone like Jalen Hyatt right here. He's someone that I feel like is going to get the draft capital. Obviously, it's the jury's out as to whether or not how good Jalen Hyatt is as a football player himself. But in terms of draft capital, in terms of opportunity, I think he's going to get it. And getting him at this point in the draft in the second round, I think is kind of a great value in terms of what a team is going to at least try to do with him. If they succeed, that's a whole nother story. But I think they're going to try to give him the capital, try to give him the opportunity. And if he's able to make something out of that and you get him this late in the draft, I think that's a great steal right there.
Yeah, I can fully understand that argument. And we've been having this kind of back and forth between each other for a month, maybe more than that, on the channel. I think I'm fully out on Jalen Hyatt at this point, man. I don't think I'm going to be taking any Jalen anywhere.
It's either a take that's gonna age extremely well or extremely poorly.
Oh yeah, one of us is going to get buried, and it's
Yeah.
going to be great.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see who it is.
I'm looking forward to it, honestly.
Yeah. But genuinely, like I can understand that argument. He gets the capital, he's going to be given the opportunity. He's shown to produce last year. It's more than possible that he could be a good fantasy asset. I just don't see it that way, but that's all right. At the 2-3, I'm going to pretty confidently take Michael Mayer here. He didn't impress at the combine in terms of athleticism, but we didn't expect him to. I don't think we should like double knock him for that. We knew that he was going to be slow. We knew that he wasn't going to be super agile. We also know that he's one of the better college tight end producers that we've seen in a very, very long time. And I can't imagine a world where he's not a solid NFL pro for like a decade, unless, injuries take him out or something like that. But yeah, he's not like a crazy separator, but he just gets the job done. He's a great in contested catch situations, good route runner at all levels of the field, great in the red zone, just the total package.
Absolutely. Since actually, I'm trying to think of where we're at right now. We're at the 204, but it would be on the other side, so it would be with one of the quote unquote worst teams.
Yep.
So at that point, I would go with Zach Evans. I think.
Okay.
That one, I like Devin Achane, I do, but I like Zach Evans a lot more as just a pure running back prospect. Just in terms of how he plays as a player, I like Zach Evans a lot, to be honest with you. And I feel like if you're a team that's trying to rebuild, he could be a nice little cornerstone piece as a solid running back, especially depending on the landing spot. In terms of a pure runner, he's one of the best in the class. So yeah, I'm gonna go Zach Evans right here.
I dig it. You mentioned Achane. He's probably the next guy on my list to take here. I love the production that he had. I love the efficiency metrics. I love it on tape. The size scares me though. Like we don't have a history of guys at his size producing at an elite level for fantasy, or even getting the opportunity to do such a thing. I'm not saying that he can't be an outlier. I'm not saying that he can't do it, but it scares me a little bit. And so I think I'm going to go with somebody that I feel is safer. Another prospect that I like a lot in Marvin Mims. So let me put him on the board. Great production profile, super early breakout age. Another guy kind of in a similar mold to Addison and Flowers, where he's a really good athlete, great in space, and one of the best contested catchers in the class, even though he's a little bit undersized. So yeah, it's kind of a similar story with all three of those guys, but to get him at the 2.5 feels like a really good value.
No, I like that. With the 2.6, however, I am gonna go with Devin Achane. I do, like
Okay.
you said, the size is concerning for sure, especially at the NFL level. It might not have been as much of a concern in college, but at the NFL level, it's definitely a concern. But
Yeah.
I just feel like I think he's got the vision. I think he's got the home run speed. I think he's got enough in the toolbox to at least be able to keep himself safe out there for sure, and to just be able to make something happen out of nothing. I see a lot of broken plays that end up getting fixed by Devin Achane just making something happen. So I think he's pretty electric. I think he can make things happen. He can make something out of nothing.
Yeah, 100%. All right, this is a tough decision for me here. I think I'm picking between running backs. Do I want the prototypical size, or do I want the undersized electric guy? I think I'm gonna go undersized. He's still over 200 pounds. I'm gonna go with Tyjae Spears. Like I mentioned, incredibly dynamic in his college career at Tulane. Moves in a really unique way, kind of unlike anybody else in the class or anybody that we've seen in quite some time. Super shifty, has an incredible stop-start ability to just get to full speed in an instant. I think that he's going to be a great fit for almost any team that he goes to. Again, a little bit concerned about the size. I think his official weight was like 201. But at least it's over the 200 mark, so hopefully he'll be all right.
Yeah, definitely agree there. I think Tyjae Spears is one of the more exciting prospects. For the 208, I'm gonna go with Hendon Hooker here.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah, because we're more off to remember, guys. We're supposed to be more so on this side with this team 8 over here, which means it should be a better team who is a good team. Maybe they're looking to bolster up a little bit, looking to get another quarterback, stuff like that. We're talking about Hendon Hooker. He's a guy who's been flying up real life draft boards. Not really exactly sure why, but he has been. In terms of his college play, he was pretty good in college. One of the more accurate quarterbacks coming into the league. The issue is he's 25. He's on the older side, but I don't know. He's been flying up real life draft boards. I feel like I saw a recent mock that had him getting taken at 23rd overall to the Vikings and stuff like that, and being like the next guy in line for Kirk Cousins. And if that's the case, if that's a real thing that could happen, like a team could have him sit and then possibly play in like a year or two after they get the other guy out of there, that could be a really good situation, especially if we were to land with somewhere like Minnesota with a Justin Jefferson or someone of that caliber. So at that point in the draft, I'm willing to take a chance on somebody like that, especially in SuperFlex.
Yeah, I think I just forgot about him again. I keep doing it. If he gets the capital, you have to take him earlier. Like if he gets first round capital, like you said, at the Vikings in that kind of 20 range, or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers who need a quarterback somewhere in there, he's probably like a back end of the first, early second type pick.
Absolutely.
I'm not necessarily convinced of that yet, and I'm not convinced of him as a player yet, but we'll see what happens. And like I said, his draft capital could swing dramatically depending on landing spot. All right, so we get to the 209. I'm back up on the board. What am I going to do here? I think I might take a little tight end premium swing and boost up our boy Sam Laporta.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
I gotta get him on the board here. Okay, sleeper. He's way too low. Where is he?
Yeah, he's disrespectfully low.
I'm still scrolling. What is going on? Did I miss him?
Let's see.
No, bro. How is he this low? This is wild. Okay, yeah, that's ridiculous. Sam Laporta, I think, is both of our tight end 3 in this class. Go Iowa tight ends. They're tight end U. Really good production profile in college. Statistically, but also looked really good on tape. He is an angry, violent runner. I'm not saying he is George Kittle, but kind of a similar play style. Really solid hands, good route runner, pretty good athleticism that he showed at the combine. I was really pleased with what we saw from him there. And yeah, I just think he's going to be a really solid tight end for many years to come, and could be a pretty good fantasy producer as well.
Absolutely. Like you said, love an Iowa tight end. Love an Iowa tight end.
Yes.
At the 210, I'm going to go with first team all name, Mr. Tank Bigsby.
Yes, sir.
Hartavius Tank Bigsby. I think he's one of those guys that, depending on the landing spot, he could have a pretty good NFL career, to be honest with you. Obviously, he's going to have to clean some stuff up, like going out there and dancing a little bit too much. But I will guarantee getting hit a couple times in the league may shake you out of that, I will say. But Tank Bigsby, he's one of those guys who did produce in college. I just think that if he lands with the right team, he could do really well out there, to be honest with you. He's got prototypical size. He's not slow at all. He's a good runner. He just needs to clean some things up in his game for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I am going to go back to the running back and I'm going to take Izzy Abanikanda.
Ooh.
He just had his pro day and really, really impressed. Now, I take all pro day numbers with a grain of salt, but we had some scouts saying that they clocked him at like between a 4.26 and a 4.29. I don't think that's true, but if it's anywhere close to that, like if he's mid 4.3s, this guy has really good size, prototypical size, fantastic speed. He showed to be really efficient, was a great producer in this past year at Pitt. I had him a little bit lower than this in my running back rankings prior, and I moved him up just a little bit after that pro day performance, but I think that could definitely boost his draft capital, which is going to be really important.
Hell yeah. I like Izzy a lot, too. He's been rising up a lot for me, too. He's going to be one of those guys people sleep on, and they're probably going to be upset that they did.
Yeah.
And then looking at this 212 spot, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for my boy. I'm going Mr. Rashee Rice down here.
Oh, yes.
It's one of those guys who, before the draft, I thought he was going to be a good prospect just because of his IQ, his ability to find space and zone, His route running is pretty clean. He's on the bigger side in terms of size, but also when it comes down to his measurables and stuff like that, his vertical was the highest, or tied for the highest amongst wide receivers at 41 inches. Broad jump was also very good. Speed, he ended up around the 4.5, which again, as we said earlier, is not really a bad thing, especially when you know what you're doing with it. So I do like Rashee Rice a lot as a prospect, and yeah, I think he should go right here, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I am going to dip back into the running back pool here at the 301, and I'm going to go with Roschon Johnson. I think from what I've been hearing, he's going to get pretty good draft capital. I expect him to go day 2. I think that he doesn't have the production profile, but that's because he played alongside Bijan Robinson and Keontae Ingram when he was, kind of in his prime. Roschon Johnson was a freshman, so was never the full-time starter, but in the opportunities that he got, he was pretty efficient. He's got more than prototypical size. He's a really big dude. Didn't have great athleticism, but we didn't expect him to. That's not really his game. But yeah, just a solid all-around guy. And I think if he does get round 2, round 3 capital, I'm more than willing to take him at the 3rd round price right here.
No, I definitely agree that. I like Roschon Johnson a lot. He just had the unfortunate of being right behind Bijan, so a lot of people are just looking over him. But he's definitely one of those guys that'll surprise a lot. Looking at the 302, this is where I'm probably going to take Sean Tucker right here. I feel like he's gone a little bit too far down at this point to not take him. Just think he's a really good running back prospect. He's good all around. I don't really have a whole lot to speak on about Sean Tucker, and that's probably why he fell this low. But with that being said, I do think if he made it this far, you should take him.
Yeah. So there is one player that I kind of forgot about. Not that he should have gone a lot higher than this, but a guy that I've definitely been back and forth on. I had him a lot higher in my ranking earlier in the offseason, and then my guy Noah Hills at Noah More Parties on Twitter put out a piece, not hating on him necessarily. I think he still likes him, but kind of outlining some of the negative spots in his game, and that's Kendre Miller. I do think that he probably deserves to go in the 2nd round, so take that with a grain of salt, but we're going to take him here at the 303 and be pretty ecstatic about it, honestly. Prototypical size, great production at TCU, even alongside a guy like Zach Evans. So yeah, I'd be really happy about that one.
Hell yeah, I like Kendre Miller too. I didn't even see that Noah More Parties video. I need to check that out. If that's the case.
Yeah.
But with the 304, I'm gonna go with the guy that Eric probably likes more than Jalen Hyatt. I'm going with Mr. Cedric Tillman, guy out of Tennessee who, guy out of Tennessee also, but was able to produce and produced well before injury. So a lot of people say Jalen Hyatt only got his numbers because Cedric Tillman wasn't there full time. That is one of the arguments I've seen. And there's some truth behind that. I feel like Jalen Hyatt definitely benefited from that. And when Cedric Tillman was on the field, he did produce and he did do very well. So I think if you get him at this point in the draft, it could very well be one of the best values in this rookie draft just because he is going to fall as far as he is just because of Jalen Hyatt and how he did last year.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot. I think that's where I would have gone as well. But I'm happy to take my next receiver in A.T. Perry. A guy that we've talked about a couple times on the channel. I think he's severely undervalued, had a really good production profile at Wake Forest. And I mentioned it in a video that we did for the league winners. So if you haven't seen that, I would suggest you go check it out. But I think he's kind of like the arbitrage Quentin Johnston, kind of like a similar style of player in size, in athleticism, the ability to win 50-50 balls. He's not nearly as good after the catch, but it's not like he's a zero there. He's still pretty good. It's just Quentin Johnston's one of the best in the class. So to get him at the 3.5, I'd be ecstatic with it.
No, I like that a lot too. He's someone that's been rising up my draft boards as well. I didn't know who he was until like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago even.
Yeah.
But he is.
I think he's on a lot of people's radars now for sure.
Yeah, he's shooting up there. With the 306, I'm going to go ahead and do it just because we have picked all of our other guys already at this point. I'm going to go with Darnell Washington since this is a tight end premium draft. And if you're taking Darnell Washington, you're kind of hoping for the best. He's a guy who only caught 45 passes in his whole college career, something that the 3 other guys did more so in one season, much more so than one season. Uh, he's got great size at 6'7". I believe at 270 he ran like a 4.67 as his 40-yard dash. So like in terms of being a physical specimen, he's definitely up there. It's just a matter of if teams are going to use him as a receiver or if he's just going to be a big body blocking tight end out there. So if they give him the receiving nod, I'd like to see what he can do with it. I'm just not confident he's going to get it, but it's tight end premium. You're hoping for the best, and he is a good prospect. So getting him here, I wouldn't think is the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, it had to be done, especially in tight end premium, like you said. I think we're both pretty far off of Darnell compared to consensus, and so there's going to be some people that are upset about this. But yeah, he had 45 total receptions in college, and yeah, you can make the argument that he played with Eric Gilbert and Brock Bowers, really good tight end prospects. But still, you got to get yours if you're an NFL guy. Um, uh, Dominator rating is something that I think is important, but gets overblown at most positions. But at tight end, it has shown to be pretty heavily correlated to success at the next level. Um, like all of the top 12 tight ends of last year and like previous years have been over an 18% dominator rating. I think Darnell Washington is at an 8%. So just not a good look in like the statistical area for his probability of success.
But he's like 6'7", so like, you know.
So like all right, let's go to the next pick here. I think I'm gonna go back to wide receiver. There's a lot of names that I like at this point, and they're all kind of interchangeable. But I'm gonna shed some light on Xavier Hutchinson.
Ooh, I like it. I like it a lot.
Guy out of Iowa State. Yeah, he's kind of our late round target here. I gotta scroll a lot to find him though, don't I? Where is he on this list? Show yourself. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, guys, don't trust sleeper. Don't trust sleeper rookie rankings, bro. This shit. Xavier Hutchinson, he's at 210.
There he is. Okay, bet. All right, he's in there. Yeah, like a kind of oversized Amon-Ra is how I would compare him. Maybe not quite to that level of production, but he's a big slot guy. I think that he runs a pretty diverse route tree. He's really good and smooth his breaks. Really good production profile at Iowa State. And yeah, so to get that whole well-rounded of a package at the 3.7, like it's hard to pass that up.
Absolutely. It's like you said, he can kind of do it all, especially from the slot, which is a very valuable spot for you to be in, especially when you're a young wide receiver as well. So seeing that, yeah, I like Xavier Hutchinson a lot. With the 308, I don't know. I want to do it, but I don't. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to go Kayshawn. I'm going to go Kayshawn.
Oh, there he is.
I'm going to go Kayshawn, Mr. Sex Parties at 308. I just think that the combine was disappointing, to say the least. To say the absolute least, it was disappointing. Damn near damning for Kayshawn Butte, but we're hoping for the best. We're hoping that he can even see a fraction of what he was during his most productive years at LSU, and we're hoping that that draft was an outlier, a huge outlier, but it's not the most indicative thing ever. At this point, though, in this draft, we're drafting for potential, you know? And if he's able to reach at least somewhat of that potential, I think it's a good value here. But again, he's scary as a prospect now, but before the draft, he wasn't. So it's just, who knows what this guy's going to give us, to be honest with you.
Before the combine, you mean?
Oh, right? Yeah, before the combine. Obviously, we're before the draft.
Yeah. At the 308, if you miss, you miss. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But we're talking about a guy that was up there in the conversation with JSN to be the number one wide receiver in this class. So yeah, if he can get anywhere close to that, then this is an absolute steal. You just also have the opportunity for it to be a total bust.
Absolutely.
But I mean, you can say that about almost any of these guys.
Yeah.
All right. So 309, what am I going to do here? I think I'm going to go back to the running back position. I'm going to take Evan Hull. He's another guy that we talked about pretty in-depth in that League Winners video. He is pretty good size for his position. I think he's like 207 or 209, weighed in a little bit heavier than I expected, which was encouraging. Fantastic receiving back. One of the top 3 receiving backs in this entire class. We're talking about Jahmyr Gibbs, Deuce Vaughn, and Evan Hull. The only running back in this class to have a 200-yard plus receiving game in his career. So that was really impressive. And yeah, I think he's got the chops to do it in between the tackles, and he's dynamic in space and really good as a receiver. So I'll take that at the 3.9.
Nah, I like that. And at the 310 stuff, it's like you said, we're taking a lot of shots here. So obviously, some are going to miss, some might hit. I'm looking at Chase Brown right here in this spot, just in terms of him as a prospect. I know he is on the smaller side in terms of height. He's like 5'9", 5'9.5", 210, I believe is his weight. But in terms of just like how he measured out at the combine, I think he ran a 4.43. He is somebody who is a bit of an athletic prospect, someone I'm willing to take a shot on at the very least. He's got a 40-inch vertical as well, good broad jump as well. I just think he's a physical specimen that if he gets the right landing spot with the right coaching staff, he could make an impact. Or like you said, we could miss. But at this point, we're drafting for potential, and I like Chase Brown's potential.
Yeah, I can't argue with that at all. I'm happy with Chase Brown at 310. Second to last pick here, 311. Again, we're going running back. I'm going to go with Dwayne Bride. Just from a pure runner perspective, because he is basically a total zero as a receiver. But just as a runner, he is one of the best in the class, in my opinion, in terms of his vision, his decision-making, his in-between tackles running, his ability to pick up yards in situations where I think other backs in this class might not be able to do so. He's also explosive. He's got a good breakaway rate and chunk run rate. And I think he's also one of the best running backs that we've seen in the past like half decade in terms of force missed tackles. He's up there with like Javante. So I think just strictly as a runner, he's the total package. He's fantastic in that regard. I do expect him to get pigeonholed as a 2-down guy, not get a lot of work on third downs, but I'll take that here at 311.
Nah, I like that too. And at the 312, I feel like I'd be amiss to not pick him. I'm going to go with Mr. Tyler Scott, someone who's been rising up a lot of draft boards. It's funny because he only played wide receiver for like 2 years. Like he's only played wide receiver for 2 years, yeah. But the fact that he's about to get drafted as an NFL wide receiver is kind of crazy. And it kind of just goes to show that there is a ceiling with this guy. He is a quick learner. He's able to learn and able to adapt to new positions. But I feel like if he were able to really focus down on being a wide receiver full time like he will in the NFL, I think that could prove to be, very fruitful for him. I think he's got track speed. I think he's got decent footwork. It's something that could be worked on. But again, he's only played wide receiver for 2 years. So he's a project for sure, but he's somebody who has all the measurables to be able to be someone who's, pretty good in the league. He had a great vertical with 40 inches. Broad jump was something that was over 11 feet for his broad jump. So he is a physical specimen as well. And I think if he gets the right landing spot, he could be really good in the league, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I like that a lot. All right, so that will wrap up our 3-round SuperFlex tight end mock draft. We didn't get to some of our ad reads. Below those now. We have one for Dynasty Owner. We are partnered with them. They are a really cool Dynasty platform if you're looking for kind of a unique experience. They have a patent on using real-life NFL salaries in their Dynasty games, so it makes the off-season moves and the real-life free agency and trades all that more exciting because it's going to directly affect your Dynasty roster. You can make money doing it as well if you're good at it in the traditional sense. If you finish in the top 4 of your league, you get a payout. But also, they have a Dynasty Owner marketplace. So if you're a savvy Dynasty owner and you can take a team from first to first, you might be able to sell it on that marketplace for even more than you bought it for. So yeah, we would really appreciate it if you go check it out. Will and I are on the site. We've enjoyed our experience so far. And you can use our promo code BallBusters for 20% off, or I think $10 off, but that equates to about the same thing, your sign-up fee. So yeah, use code BallBusters at dynastyowner.com.
Absolutely. And our other sponsors, we partnered recently with the Fantasy Football League Winners website, so we are making content for them as well. So you guys want to, you can check that out. We'll still be making content here, of course, but we're working with them. And as a part of that partnership, we are also a partner with Underdog Fantasy. So if you use our promo code FFLW or click the link in the description, they will match your deposit if you're a first-time user. So if you put in $20, they will give you an additional $20 on top of your bet. $40, they'll give you an additional $40, all the way up to $100. So with that being said, make sure you use promo code FFLW or click the link in the description below and gamble responsibly.
Yes, sir. And the last one, we have a apparel site called Do Numbers. It's run by our boy Zay. So if you want some cool merch, cool apparel, I'm right now. If you want something cool like this, very comfortable, wear it every day, go to snacks.online. That is going to be listed in the description below with everything else. And use our promo code FFBallBusters15 for 15% off your order on all this cool merch and apparel. FFBallBusters15. Go support us. Go support our friend Zay.
But with that being said, guys, make sure you guys do all that great YouTube stuff. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know when we drop our latest videos. Hit that like button. It's absolutely free, and it's the best way to support us and get our videos out there to the people. Make sure you guys comment. We would like the engagement. You guys can drop down any questions you want to hear, Dynasty, season long, any type of question you have, drop it down. We will answer it below. And also check the description for a link to our Discord. You can join the community, become a part of that. We got some great people in there, some other people who can give some perspective and some insight as well. So with that being said, check out all that below. And yeah, hope you guys have a great day. Thank you for watching this far. And as always, we love you. And we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Peace.